Hi, I'm Christy Sitch. I'm a teaching and learning librarian here at Western. This tutorial is meant to help you with your final essay in Canadian politics. If you follow the whole tutorial, by the end of it, you should be able to break a focused topic into a search, locate scholarly sources from general and specific research tools, and track your research with a nifty tool that I'm going to show you that also allows you to create bibliographies on the fly. Okay, before we dive into searching, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about having an unfocused research question versus a more focused research question. The focused research question is going to really help you when you come down to actually writing your essay. It may also help you when you're looking for sources. An unfocused research question might be something like, what are the benefits of multiculturalism in Canada? You could definitely find sources on that, but it's so broad that you're going to struggle when you actually need to write a 10-page paper. A focused research question would be something like, how has multiculturalism succeeded in promoting the integration of immigrants and minority groups? That's much more directional, so you'll have something carved out to write about. The next thing you need to do is take your topic and find out what the key words are within your topic, the words that you're going to take into the search engines to find the scholarly sources. I find concept mapping is a great way for me to sort of brainstorm and get all my ideas down. I actually do this usually before I come up with a topic or a research question, but you can also do it afterwards. So if you've been given a topic, you can still concept map. So the idea is to kind of just throw all your ideas on the paper and then circle those words that you think might be important for when you're going to search. Once you have your concept, you can then start to put together your search string that you will take into the databases and the search engines to find scholarly material. This is an example of a search string based on our topic. I want to point out that I have 3 main topics that I'm searching. The idea of multiculturalism is one, the aspect of being Canadian is the second one, and the idea of integration is the third one. The 3 ideas you can see are separated by the orange brackets. Brackets are important when you're searching in a search engine. You need to be able to contain your concepts that way. The words or and are Boolean operators that act as connectors, so they connect your ideas together. Or helps you combine like terms. So I'm interested in multiculturalism, but I'm also interested in the idea of immigration. So those aspects to me are similar enough that if I had articles or books on both, that would be okay. So I've combined multiculturalism or immigration or minorities as one idea. And then I have Canada on its own. I could also add or Canadian or Ontario if I wanted to focus on Ontario. So I would combine sort of the geography. And then the third one I have integration or melting pot or diversity. Also, I just want to point out that I'm using the star symbol or the asterisk. That is a wildcard character that is used in most databases. So that just allows you to get variant spellings of words. So you don't have to type the whole word if you know that there's different endings or plural forms. And the other thing I wanted to point out is with melting pot, I've put that in quotation marks. And that's because there's actually 2 words there. So that forces it to search as a phrase. So it won't look for melting by itself or pot by itself. It will look for them together. Okay, now that you have your search string, you're going to want to take it into a search engine. And the first place that you're going to want to go to is Google. Everybody goes to Google, and that's okay. I use Google. I like to use Google when I'm doing the brainstorming phase of coming up with a topic. I find that's a quick way to sort of get a feel for what's out there on the topic. The problem with Google is that it can be really overwhelming. There's just so much stuff out there that you really have to figure out how to limit it down, and it can be hard in Google. there's a lot of material that's not scholarly, which is why you have access to a lot of scholarly tools that I'm going to show you. The first one I want to show you is a very general, broad search tool. It's the library search engine, and it's a lot like Google. It searches all of the disciplines. It is more scholarly than Google, so that's one thing to keep in mind and why you might want to use it. It's right on the home page, right under the image. If you just look for the search box, there it is. Now what you can do with your search string, if you've saved it as a text file somewhere on your computer, you can copy and paste it right in the search box. As you can see, I have all the brackets that I need, and the ands and the ors are in the proper place. That's important. Once we hit search, we're then brought to a list of results. We have over 300,000 just in this search, the library search. What you're searching when you're searching this search engine is the library's complete book collection, as well as a lot of our online journals. So you're searching within journals as well, getting articles from the journals, but also chapters and books are coming back. So that's why there's quite a few things coming back. We will want to limit that down. There's a couple of ways of limiting your search down. One way is to look on the left-hand side. These are all refinement tools that you can add. So here's one here called peer review. That will limit the search down to just articles found within peer-reviewed journals. I should mention what the search engine is actually searching. It's searching within the library's collection. So it's our complete book collection, but also some of the journals that we subscribe to. And you're searching the contents of the journal when you search here. Now it's just online journals, and it's also just a selection of them. It's not the complete list of journals that we have. We have other tools for searching other journals, and I'll show you that in a minute. So peer review is one way to get the most scholarly. You could also just limit to books. So if you're just starting out and you want to just get a few books to read on the topic, you can limit down to books. Also, you can limit by date. So if you're dealing with a really current topic or you just want the current perspective, you can limit down to a range of dates or the last 12 months or 3 years or 5 years. There's also this subject terms list, which might be helpful. In our case, because this search engine is an interdisciplinary search, you're searching everything from engineering to English literature when you're searching within here. You can add political science to the search. It's one of the options. So I'm going to click on that and see if that limits my search down. So that brought that down to 28,000. It's still a huge number, so we're going to want to limit that down even more. The second way of limiting a search is to change up your keywords. So if you add a fourth concept, so right now we have 3 ideas in the search. If we add a fourth concept, that's going to limit it down even more. Or an idea that I had was perhaps taking Canada out and adding that as search within the title of the article. You can't do that in the basic search, which is what we did. But if you go over here to advanced, you have more options for searching. So what I'm going to do is take out Canada in the main search string here, which was searching in all fields, and I'm going to add it to search within the title of the item. And I might want to say Canada or Canadian. And that changed our results. It didn't limit it down because I added Canadian to the search. It actually broadened it a little bit. But hopefully it's more relevant because it's pulling those keywords in the titles of the items. So you can see Canadian showing up there and this one. So another nice thing is that once you've kind of got a fairly decent search and you're liking the results that you see, you can start marking those items to track them down. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's a little folder icon that you click on beside each item to mark it. And then if you want to see those marked items, you just have to click on the Saved Items folder at the top. And there they all are. Now looking at each item, to find it, you write down the call number and the location. This one says it's in the Huron stacks, and then there's a +1 more. If we click on that, we see that it's also available online. So you could get that book right online and read it that way. This one down here says it's a journal article. So we would need to find the full text online, or if it's a print issue, we need to track that down in the library using the call number for the journal. This last one here that I marked is actually a conference proceeding, and there's a call number there in the library to find it. If we check availability for that one, it takes us into the proper library catalog, which gives us more information about the item. It tells us it's on the 3rd floor, and it's a regular loan item, and it's currently in library, so nobody has that signed out, so I should be able to find it. Okay, so you may have found lots of resources in the library search, or you may not have. Either way, it's a good idea to always search more than one place. Just like you wouldn't want to just search in Google, you don't want to just search in the library search. We actually have some really specific search engines devoted to each and every subject. The library subscribes to these extra products. The place to go to find these resources, on the library homepage under Research Tools, you'll find a link to research guides. There's a research guide for every single subject area that's taught on campus. So let's scroll down and find the one for political science. Under that link, there's a few related links. I'll just choose the political science link. And here is the guide. Under the Research Tools tab on this guide, you'll find a whole bunch of resources that are recommended for political science. The very first link there is the one I want to show you. It's ProQuest Political Science and Public Administration. As with the other search tool, you can simply paste in your search string right into the database. And if you've saved it as a text file, copy and paste works really well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There are limits in this database as well. A lot of databases sort of have the same functionality, so there's a peer-reviewed limit here that you could turn on. I'm just going to go ahead and search it just to give you a sense of this interface. Now, as I mentioned, the library subscribes to this database, which is actually, this search is actually through ProQuest, searching 24 ProQuest databases that are relevant to political science. So we've kind of combined 24 different databases for political science. But they're put out by ProQuest, who doesn't necessarily know what the library has. So it is a bit of a two-step process when you're in the ProQuest interface. So I'm going to work through this and mark a few items just like we did in the library search. Just things that sound interesting, that might give your topic something more to discuss. So I'll just mark a few to give you an idea. You may see some overlap, and that's because different databases may index key journals that they all want to include, but there will be differences. Otherwise, we wouldn't bother subscribing to something that was completely redundant. Okay, so I've saved 3 items, and they're up here at the top in this folder, and I can look at them at that point and then try to track them down if I'd like to. So for this one here, I can tell that this is a journal. It has the word journal right in this title here. This is the article title, followed by the author's names, followed by the journal title. So we need to find out if we subscribe to that. This one has a full text PDF link right there, which means we do have access. The one beneath it, however, doesn't seem to have a full text PDF access. So how do we get that article? It's also a journal, and I can tell not necessarily from the title, International Migration Review, but there's a volume number and an issue number, so that's a clue that it's a journal. So one thing you can try is this Get It at Western button. What that does is it runs a search in our library system to see if we have it. And good news, we do have this one. There's a PDF link that comes back. So the ProQuest database didn't know from the first page that we had it, but connecting through our system did find the PDF link, and you'd be able to click that and access it. The last thing that I wanted to show you in this tutorial is a tool called Zotero. This is a great tool for helping you stay organized with your research. You can go to the website www.zotero.org, and there you can download the software and also set up your account. You will want to do both of those things. You need an account to access the web version of Zotero, which can be handy if you're on campus and you don't have your computer, but you still need to access the material that you've saved in Zotero. So what is Zotero? It's basically, you can think of it as your own personal database of the material that you've collected while you're researching. It's an easy way to capture articles and citations to information. There's a couple of ways to do it. You can export directly from the databases. So just as we were marking records, we can send them right into our Zotero accounts and then look them up later or just keep track of them there. The other way to do it is there is a plugin that you can add to your browser. I'm just going to show you on the Zotero website. So here is where you would log in. And if you don't have a login, I believe you can create an account there. So I recommend doing that, but also downloading the software. So back on the home page, there's the download button. So do that. Once you click download, you're then prompted to so download for Windows. It knows my operating system. If you're on Mac, it'll say download for Mac. Then over here, there's the Zotero connector, and this is the web capture. So what happens if you install this is a little button appears in your browser. So if you're on a page that you want to capture, you can just click the button and it sends it to Zotero. So go ahead and install Zotero. So once you download Zotero and launch the program, this is what it looks like. Yours will look a little emptier than mine. I've been using Zotero for a while, so I have a lot of items in here. As you begin to populate your Zotero database, you will want to organize it using folders. It's really easy to create these folders, so I have created all these folders on the left for different research projects that I've had. You add a folder just by using that little icon at the top, and they call it collection, so new collection. And I'm just going to give the course name for this folder. And now we have a folder that's ready to populate and collect items in. Okay, so now we're going to want to populate our folder in Zotero with some of the research that we found. So I'm just showing you the very first search that I showed you, the library search, and I had gone through and marked some records. So once you open up that marked folder, usually there's an option to export, or I think in the ProQuest database it's a save link, so you look for that save link. In this case it does say export to. If we click on that, this one has Zotero as an option. If it doesn't say Zotero, look for something. I think EndNote is the same file format as Zotero, so if it has EndNote you can choose that, or if it says RIS, which is the extension that Zotero reads. Okay, you should get a pop-up that asks you if you want to import the file export-Zotero, which is the best case scenario. If you don't see that pop-up, check in your downloads folder. It might be hiding there and you might need to just double click on it. And it's saying import into new collection. I don't want to import into a new collection because I have the class folder selected. So if I click that, it should then throw in all of those citations into my folder. Now, you do need to sometimes edit the citations. Once in a while, the data that is brought over might be incorrect. So if you need to make a change, you can edit within just by clicking on this. So for instance, that period got brought over. I don't necessarily want that there, so I can just take it right out. Okay, so I've covered everything I wanted to show you, but if you find that you still have questions or you get stuck on something, I want you to ask for help. The best place to ask for help is using our Ask Chat with a Librarian service. They have the best hours, and you'll get in touch with someone immediately if they're online. So you would just click on that Ask button and then click it again to launch it. You can also send an email to wlteach@uwo.ca if you want to meet with somebody or have an email question, and someone can get back to you and help you with that. Good luck with your essays.